So let's talk about racism. Now, I don't think racism is a good thing at all. I am not a racist. I am an individualist. And as someone who is half white and half Chinese, I would hate to think that someone would assume to know anything about me or would judge me based solely on my racial background. There's so much more to me. I would much rather be judged on my character, my merit, my skills, my personal history, and all that stuff. So that is the same approach that I try to take toward other people. And, the problem with anti-racism activism nowadays is that it's not just about combating racism, trying to promote equality and colorblindness and all of that. It's actually about needing people to acknowledge that white people are privileged and perhaps innately racist, and that society is built to, I guess, oppress non-white people, and that black and brown people are able to determine what is and what is not racist without any words from white people. And it's an entirely new ideology in and of itself that I don't think has anything to do with actually defeating racism. But, we've been seeing this type of thing for a while in the social sciences, the humanities, and the like, but it's actually reached a point now where it's starting to seep into STEM. And I think this article we're going to be looking at is an exact example of this. So this is from The Guardian, and it's a researcher who is writing this op-ed asserting that racism is so bad in the US that it's actually having health consequences for black people. She writes, "I'm part of a research team that has been following more than 800 black American families for almost 25 years. We found that people who had reported experiencing high levels of racial discrimination when they were young teenagers had significantly higher levels of depression in their 20s than those who hadn't. This elevated depression in turn showed up in their blood samples, which revealed accelerated aging on a cellular level." Says our research is not the first to show black Americans live sicker lives and die younger than other racial or ethnic groups. The experience of constant and accumulating stress due to racism throughout an individual's lifetime can wear and tear down the body, literally getting under the skin to affect health. This idea that racism is so prevalent and so serious that it actually wears down on black people's mental and physical states. This may be one of the first research groups focusing on this, but in terms of like social justice rhetoric, this is not a new idea. We've kind of seen this theory propped up by people like AOC, especially when COVID was happening. And Look, I'm not going to say that racism does not exist in America, because of course it does. There are individuals everywhere who are racist, and as terrible as racism is, because individual humans may always be terrible, I don't think we're going to get rid of it completely ever. But I mean, to say that racism is so bad in the US, one of the most multicultural and diverse societies ever, that black people actually are experiencing illness because of it, I think that's a big stretch, especially when we take into account the fact that there are a lot of other health indicators that black Americans do not score the same on as white Americans that could affect their overall health levels that have nothing to do with racism. And I'm talking about things like poverty levels, which of course affects what you eat, and as your likelihood of exercising as well, obesity levels, things like that.